Hey guys, turn down this music a bit. Okay. So I am on day 7 of this challenge. As you saw in the beginning there, I'm actually doing pretty good. I moved up my first firing to day 10. we're gonna see if that sticks. I'm not quite sure about that. We're gonna see if the first 36 of these are dry to get them into the kiln. But I have two pieces here that I didn't trim the bottoms on when I started trimming. So unfortunately, this is going to be a issue where we sand these down instead of actually trimming. That's okay. We can do that. Right. Cool. I'm going to do this very gently because it's dry, it's fragile, it's already been carved. Actually, no, I have a spray gun here. Let's you don't typically want to do this too much because it will make your piece a little brittle, but to get the slip off of here, I do feel like I need to wet it a little bit. That will also cut down on the sand that's being created. I am planning on doing a bunch of throwing this afternoon because I missed the bottom of two of these, but then I have nothing else to trim, which is awesome. So my goal is to throw 6 6-pounders and 10 4-pounders. That will get me through 4 bags of already weighed out clay. Did that on the first day of the challenge. Okay. That's what I was afraid of. Unfortunately, that one bites the dust and is going to have to go in the scrap pile. Boop. All right, we'll see if this next one makes it out. I don't know if it will or not. That's totally my fault for forgetting to trim the bottom of these. So we'll see if this one makes it through. If not, it will also head for the scrap pile. Oh, I should bring up my chat to see if anyone's chatty today. Okay. We can just leave that up. The top of this isn't precisely flat, so I'm not going to go crazy trying to make this. Just going to follow the wibble wobble. Hold on, we're connecting to your channels. I don't know if I'm frozen or not, but or if it's just trying to fix chat for me. So we started our assault on the Orcus Temple this morning. So what I did was they are currently 4th level characters. I had them go back to their home city of Trevani where they got help. And then I had them make 11th level characters to try to get into that upper tier. And they're running 2 characters at a time. They're running their primary characters and they're running the 11th level characters that they got to help them. I'm running guard, but they have 4 guards people with them. But all they're doing is shooting some bows and arrows. They aren't really getting into the thick of it, so their turns are super duper quick because I don't want to DMPC, which is why. And typically I just kind of montage it, have somebody roll a d20, see if the other people are doing well or not. But I thought it would be cool to let them have, because I fully believe that it's about the characters, or it's about the players. They want to, we want to make sure that they are primary. So just cleaning up some of my scraps here. I haven't cleaned this out yet. I said I was going to do it today. I'm going to get some throwing done, and then I'm going to clean this out. I'm going to mush up that reclaim that I started. That looks like it can be wedged. I'm going to wedge it into 3-pound balls for the final final stretch, there we go, of this challenge. Because I already weighed out I weighed out 55 4-pounders, 55 6-pounders, which was 550 pounds of clay. And oh god, so heavy. All right, these are 4-pounders. Okay. So I've already weighed out 55 of each of those. So whatever fails, fails. And when I get my final count by around the 12th, around the 12th, I am going to weigh out that many 3-pounders that I'm missing to make my 100, go about 10% over like I normally do, and make the rest into 3-pounders for smaller yarn bowls for people that like me who use cotton yarn. We don't need a big. We don't use it. It's not thick. It's not big. It's not. We use the smaller skeins of yarn. So once I get through all of these balls and I have a total of how many I still need, I'm going to do a bunch of 3-pounders to make up for it. Okay. So if you're hanging out with me, just throw something in the chat so I know I'm not alone today. I might be alone, and that's okay. Boop. I'm good with being alone. But yeah, so I think it went well. It was a little chaotic with so many things in the turn order, and they're splitting their thing with the more powerful going for like distraction, and letting the smaller ones, the main characters, kind of get into the temple to deal with a lot of the cultists and whatnot. What they don't know is if the little guys don't get in there and deal with them, then they're going to have a bunch of healing coming to the big guy. So they'll still be able to handle it if healing happens, I'm sure. But, you know, it makes everything more difficult. They saw the portal at the bottom of this temple. So I'm not quite sure what their plan is with that. But let's see. Then I have another Magellan campaign tonight that is completely different, because really the only thing connecting my Magellan campaigns is Magellan has asked the party for help finding his granddaughter to deliver heirlooms. After that, everything comes back to the characters' backstories and what they want out of the campaign, the world, etc. But I love kind of starting off with the Magellan part of it, because it gives them a journal that gives them a bunch of information about the world. And it's always interesting to see what they do with that information. I like to pay attention to the parts that they specifically pick up on. Do they pick up on that there's a dragon in the area? Do they pick up on people getting run out of Milgar Lake? Do they pick up on Magellan getting thrown out of the orc's lair? I kind of find it fascinating to see what each group picks up on. Or do they completely ignore the journal and just meander on their way? Every group does it differently. And I try not to get involved with what they read in the journal. Although if something comes up and that information is in the journal. Depending on the group, because some need a bigger nudge than others, sometimes I'll just have them make a history check and tell them that stuff is in the journal. Other times I will sometimes I'll just flat out tell them that, like, you should you get this uncanny feeling that you missed something in the journal, and maybe you should reread the section on this. But that all depends on the group and kind of their play style, and if they enjoy reading the journal or if I know the journal just annoys them. So every group is different. But I typically get a good sense of the group with the initial request. My Saturday morning, every other Saturday morning group, they were talking about, strongholds, like, do we start with something like that? And I'm like, I'd rather you guys get that from in the storyline from plots. So they have currently, there's 2 plot points going where they might get land from. It just depends on what they do with those. They just met one of my NPCs. And I love that as everyone meets them, they always like comment on, oh, he's a bad guy. He looks like an asshole. And when I did a Google search back in the day, long time ago, I Googled, because AI wasn't around at this point, an image for smug asshole, and this was the picture that I got. And of course, this poor guy's a real person. He's some famous person from Australia. I don't know. I know nothing about him. But this poor guy has been used in so many of my campaigns. And yeah, nobody's had anything nice to say about him. Everyone's just like, oh, that's a bad guy. And sometimes he's a bad guy, and sometimes he's just a really nice guy, and he's here to help out. And um, um, but yeah, they're about to get a business card, if you will, from him. That if they ever have information to sell, um, he will gladly buy information from them. But I am, as a DM, I am 100% gaslighting my Saturday night group because we're just rebooting this campaign because they all died doing it previously. And I'm currently gaslighting them and just being like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, Richter was super amazing to you guys, and all he wanted was a thank you. A thank you. Um, he, I'm gonna do one more pull with this guy. Just from the bottom. But yeah, I play him the same, yeah, just subtly differently every time. Like, sometimes he's neutral. Sometimes he's just evil. Um, he's very rarely just good. Um, but yeah, he's always an interesting NPC. I like him. And I love to hear everyone's reaction of him the first time they meet him. very Beach Boys-esque. Boop. The reset of this game, one of the players met Richter's father in their backstory. I should actually have them make a history check to remember that information. Oh, you know what? It's in the backstory of the guy who got teleported away. Never mind. We're not really sure he's coming back into the campaign yet. I'm getting babings here. We're helping a friend clean out his mother's house tomorrow. So he's finalizing stuff. Got a little wibble in there. I'm going to slow this down and try to get that wibble gone. He says hello, YouTube. Just want to make that extra. I would cone in, but I think I'm going to just start pulling out at this point. All right. Another 4-pounder done. Did I get? No. Okay. I'm gonna wedge that Umbria clay when I'm done with this. This is super wibbly. Okay. Okay, we went up. Now we're going to go out. I think I'm gonna cut off that for the hook. So we are doing 100 unique yarn bowls in 30 days. Right now I'm pretty good on track for them. So we've had this discussion many, many times. I do not like throwing with slip. So I have 2 buckets here, and I use one to throw all my reclaim in, and then the other one is just for water. The goal being that the one on the left is the reclaim bucket, and I will use that water until it becomes slippy and icky. And then I will just use it for reclaim, and I'll use the other one until that one also gets slippy and icky. Or until this one fills up with so much gunk that I need to dump it into the reclaim bucket. So these 4-pound bowls will probably be 3.5 pounds by the time I'm done trimming and cutting out the piece. And then I haven't actually weighed a dry one yet, but I'm gonna do that tonight because I'm kind of curious how much water comes out. Wee, wobble, wobble. Because Allie didn't slow it down. Well, we're going to do a 3-pound bowl right now. Okay. Okay. That one just wants to be a 3-pounder and not a 4-pounder. That's fine. All right. So that finished up that 5-pound. The 4-pound bag that finished that up. So I think I'm gonna take these. Do I have? I have no ripped bags over here. All right. Well, let's just rip this one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to tear until I get down to the bottom. So then I just have a blanket of plastic that I will cover these 3 with. Just real gentle like. Pretty much I want to preserve the top so that it can be cut for the hook, and I want to let the bottom air out a little bit. So that can dry and I can take it off the bat. Right, so I just took, oh, I forgot to trim this one. Okay, let's get this trimmed really quick. I don't even know. I don't know if this one will survive or not, but actually, how dry is this? All right, this is super dry. I am going to spray this down, put plastic over it, and then do this last. So I spray water on it. I wanted this to rehydrate a little bit. And if I spray it down, and then I cover it in plastic pretty tightly here. The clay will suck the water in. And it should rehydrate the middle of that. So we're just gonna wrap that around nice and tight and put that there. Okay, cool. So I just got down a bag of 3 6-pound things of clay. Because my goal is to clear off these shelves today. Hello.
Hello.
Just wanna.
And what are you up to today?
I just threw 5 4-pounders, and now I'm going to start on some 6-pounders. My goal is to clean off the shelving behind me today so that I have more flat space.
I see.
Because that is always the goal, more flat space.
Yeah, I could have sworn you were running out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not like you can exactly stack them while they're not solid.
Yep. Nope, can't do that.
They'll just
So we've started dragging them
squish into each
upstairs.
other.
Yeah. Started dragging them upstairs to the garage, and I'm filling tables upstairs. And now I'm working on filling all of the shelving as I'm taking the bags of wet clay off of it.
Hmm. So, you done all your prepping for today?
So I gained this morning. They're also running Magellan, but as you know, the only same part of Magellan is the world and
The start.
the beginning of the Magellan quest, and then after that, I'd taken everybody's backstories and create a brand new game.
I see.
So um, they're currently fighting, trying to take out a temple of Orcus.
A temple of orcas?
Yep, that's what they're currently trying to do.
Okay. Not the phrase I was expecting to hear today.
What was that?
Not a phrase I was expecting to hear today.
Ah, okay. You know,
Temple of orcas.
every Magellan game's
I
different.
suppose. I suppose the last one we faced the temple of chickens.
You did. I had the chickens there. They just ignored the chickens.
Ah,
They they fought the chickens and then they went, we have bigger things to deal with.
Like orcas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that because of just their locations, up north in Canada, orcas are one of the natural predators of mooses or moose, because I don't think there is a plural for it.
Um,
Because, see, moose can actually swim very well. They go swimming, and then the orcas eat them. It's just, it's not something people expect to prey on mooses,
no.
but it's funny.
It is funny. They had an AI thing going around about a polar bear taking shelter on somebody's boat with orcas swimming around it. And I like, you quickly look at something and go, huh, that's kind of funny. And then you like give it a second glance because you're like, something's wrong with this. And
Yeah, the uncanny valley bullshit.
yeah. And I'm looking at it again and I'm like, huh, that orca fin just swam right through the boat. Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, it's getting kind of all crazy. Like,
And now my mom's sharing all of the AI videos because she doesn't understand that they're AI.
your mother too, huh?
Oh yeah.
It's like, no, it's just really like, yes, somebody with enough skill could just animate that and it'd probably be better.
Hmm.
But yeah. Yeah, now I'm being forcibly cuddled by a giant cat.
Nice.
No, right, Nudgy. He's a big boy. I have seen dogs smaller than him. And like,
Sour.
not like teacup dogs, but just small dog breeds.
Yeah. We have a dachshund that is smaller than most of our cats.
I
And
like the fact,
our
like, he's still big even for, like, unless you're getting into the actual big breeds of cats, like Maine Coons
hmm
or Servals, uh, this is a big cat. It's a big, not big cat, you know?
Yep. We the dog we just rescued is an Australian Shepherd, and he's scared to death of the cats, except when the dachshund is his backup. I don't know if he feels like he needs to protect the dachshund from the cat, so he's like more, I don't want to say aggressive, but like barks at them, or if he has to show off for the dachshund. I don't really know the dynamic here, but if the dachshund's not there, the Australian Shepherd hides underneath my chair or gets put on the other chair so that he can get away from the cats because he's scared of them.
Well, is the dachshund scared of the cats at all?
Nope, not at all.
Yeah. Well, as somebody who's tall, who has some very short friends who are very loud when they are being inconvenienced by asshole people, I'm gonna just say, yeah, no, that makes sense.
He's so funny. And the dachshund just walks in and he's just like, "Oh, look, this bed's mine now. Thanks." All right. I'm gonna get rid of that wobble.
So this other Magellan game that you run, what is
Huh.
their party dynamic or makeup?
Um, we have a farmer who is a fighter. We have a person who was traded to the Queen of Air and Darkness um, to be saved as a child by their parents. We have so human, but from the Fae. Um, we have a thief who had a um, tadpole head into his eye. So he is a source. He's an aberrant mind sorcerer. We have a knowledge cleric. Um, the farmer's backstory: their family was killed by a group of bandits, um, by a very organized group of bandits. And their goal in life is to shut down the group of bandits that killed his family. Um, the aberrant mind sorcerer's goal is to figure out um, where he got his powers from. And the human from the Fae's goal is to figure out how to be human.
Mhm.
And the knowledge one is to figure out what happened to his mother, because she disappeared when he was young, and to gain as much knowledge as possible about every sort of being possible.
Mhm.
So he hits up the library on a regular basis to learn information about things, and he takes notes of everything they come in contact with, and fills journals to give to um, his religion and Temple of Agma, and copies to the library. Let's see, how did they start? They ignored. Were you part of the original quest from Magellan to the lake house to down into the tundra?
I came in uh rescuing the Furbolg from Richer. So, rescuing John's character. Um,
Oh, right.
and right after that, there was something about a war that was going to go on that we had to lead.
And the
And
and the first one of the one that you're in now, you came in during the festival.
yeah,
Okay. So do you Do you remember the Ravnica? You remember when you got a house in Ravnica and the ravens were there
Yep.
and the Shadowfell crossing? Okay. So they completely ignored the ravens with the Orcus statue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's how I started this campaign. They completely ignored that. They're like, nope, they've got whatever that is handled. We have a quest to do. We're not touching the Shadowfell thing. Um, so they have one of the Raven's claws, but they haven't tried to actually contact her yet.
Yeah.
But it has been discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So um, if they do that, then they'll find out a whole lot more information. But they're also with the invading of the Orcus Temple right now that is currently being cleaned up and remade. Um, they'll find out information there too. So we'll see what all they discover and what all they decide to do. It just popped off the bat. That was rather rude. Um, oh, they today they met Richter for the first time,
Ah.
and the one guy goes, "Well, that's an evil guy. He's definitely a smug asshole." And I went, "Oh my God, that's so funny." So, and I feel bad because like the Richter image is an image of a real person. He's some famous guy in Australia.
Oh.
And when I first, like back before AI was a thing, I did
Yeah.
Google searches for random NPCs. And so I had typed in smug asshole when I did my Google search, and his picture showed up. And I went, yep, that'll work. And I took it and whatever. And then I realized, it, I don't know, 2 campaigns later, I did a reverse Google search on the image. And I'm like, "Ugh, he is a real person." Okay.
Doesn't mean he's not a smug asshole.
Yeah. And then I put his name into Midjourney,
Yeah.
and I just did older version of this person so that I could get his image of Richter's father
Mm-hmm.
for Zanny's character's backstory.
I see. So
So
Zanny's gonna be related to Richter.
no, he met Richter's father.
Oh,
He doesn't. I don't think he put together that information,
I see.
but I don't know. He might have. But his character's been taken away.
Oh, that character, not the new current one.
Yeah, no. It was in his backstory when he was bought by the prince for his fighting guild.
Mm-hmm.
He was there during that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know if he put it together or not, but it was there.
But truly, how often do players put together the puzzle pieces placed in front of them?
Um, so it's kind of funny. We kind of talked about this previously, Gary and I. I can throw the same puzzle pieces at the same group of people 20 times and they won't put it together. My
Yeah,
paid
I know.
games,
Yeah.
they put it together before I even finish laying out the puzzle pieces.
Hmm.
I'm like, hmm,
Well, perhaps they're paying more attention because they're paying to be there,
yep,
which is very possible. Either that or the people who, you or maybe your friends all just have ADHD and can't focus.
it could be a little bit of both. Yeah, yep, 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 yep. Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting there going, man, I've thrown that same thing at people like 10 times now and they haven't figured it out. I've barely finished saying the words and you guys are like, "Oh my God. So wait, so this and that and then we were dealing with this other thing that was like that and hold on. This is all one plot hook." Just like,
Yeah.
"Okay,
Yeah. Like I know I'm kind of guilty for not being able to put things together, but you know what? It's fine.
are you having fun?"
Yes, and
Then
as long as everyone is having fun, then that's the important part of things.
yep, exactly. Yep, yep.
We'll say I do have more fun on Saturday than Sunday.
Yeah, same. Yep. Yep, yep. But, we've already kind of talked about I'm probably not going to be picking up the Sunday campaign again.
Hmm.
That's my
Yeah.
stressful one.
I should probably let you know, in regards to Sunday stuff. I could say it on here or whenever else, but a friend of mine is starting up a Pathfinder campaign every other week
Cool.
on Sundays.
Okay.
Um, and I really want to be a part of that because way long ago when he said originally put out the idea of running one, I said that I would be there. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
so it either will come down to a I'll be able to show up every other week
Hmm.
or I won't be able to show up,
Okay.
depending on whether or not every other week is you know seems odd or whatever else or
Okay. And
whatever he
especially with this
wants.
campaign where like you can just go back to because you guys typically end back at the place every time anyway.
So far, yeah, unless we're ending in the middle of a combat or right before one.
Yeah.
So, I guess yeah, Sir Abby can be the we need to take stuff from here to there, or a shipment needs to be picked up or something. You know,
Yep.
she can go
Cool.
be the one doing that. But yeah,
You can also be
so
keeping your spider friends happy.
yeah, but yeah, I know he's running every other week. I just don't know
Cool.
which week we're starting.
Okay.
So
Yep. Awesome.
just something I needed to let you know instead of the random disappearance. Because I'm good to continue with the story. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, if you can get into a Pathfinder campaign, that's awesome.
Hmm.
You're gonna go here.
And with Sarabi only being there every other week, she'll have more of a chance of living.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's totally not a dangerous campaign. I've never killed anyone.
One session, the session he came in, he died.
Yeah.
It is a good thing everyone's a good sport about things because
Yeah.
I know some people, I've played with some people that if that was the case for them, nuh-uh. They would be blowing up at you so fast.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing everyone's just like very chill.
And, you know, I said it from the beginning that this was going to be an extremely dangerous campaign, and there will be death.
I mean, the first thing you did was send us after a manticore.
You guys could have run away. I
We
did
survived.
not
We were
expect you
fine.
guys to fight that thing.
We survived. I feel though that Steve just plays very, like, he's the one who goes down the absolute most. Because he went down in that fight, but we just picked him up.
Right. I did not expect you guys to fight that thing. I very much expected you guys to see it and go, oh God, and then head back and like report in and go, hey guys, there's this thing out there that's like super duper dangerous.
Nah.
Nah.
Running away. Yeah. But yeah, I'll let you know what weekend it starts, like as
Okay.
soon as I know, so that it's not a sudden thing at the last minute one
Yeah.
week, just being like, won't be there. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
believe
And
we're
then,
planning on starting in July, so I should
okay,
be good for the rest of June.
cool. Yeah. And June 15th, we're not going to do, we're going to be away, and it's Father's Day.
Yeah, not that I have anything planned for that, but yep,
I don't even know if Father's Day is on the same day as for you guys, so I guess it is.
it is. Yeah, I believe Father's Day and Mother's Day coincide.
Okay.
Same with Valentine's Day, Easter, and Christmas. I think the only ones that differ are Thanksgiving and
Mhm.
then the like random holidays. Like
Yeah,
you
like
have your
Memorial
Memorial
Day
Day.
and yeah.
Now, we don't have a Memorial Day then. However, we do have a thing called Remembrance Day in November,
Okay, we have Veterans Day.
which on the 11th of November?
It's the
Or
first, no, the first Monday in September, I think.
yeah. Yeah, we have Remembrance Day on the 11th of November, and that is
11/11.
our
Yep.
remember the veterans, remember the sacrifices and everything.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
that day.
11 bells toll on 11/11. Yep. Yep, yep, yep.
Hmm. But I think yeah, for the most part, because of the similar and roots and such, a lot of the major holidays are the same. But yeah.
Right. Slow down the wheel. Um, yeah, that one's gonna be the one that I don't pick up come next year.
Mhm. Well, you got like a million other things going.
I have so many things going on. And with
Yeah.
trying to expand the business and whatnot, everything is just getting a little overwhelming.
Yeah, that's fair. And kind of gotta, as much as prioritizing the most fun things would be, you also gotta prioritize like the money making things.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I'm attempting to crochet again, and my cat's attempting to run away with my yarn. It is not working out for him, but it's cute watching him try.
um, my cat used to yank my yarn ball right off of the desk, and now that I've started using one of my yarn bowls, he gets the yarn between the yarn bowl and me, but he can no longer like just rip the entire thing off the desk because I
Mm-hmm.
have one of my heavier bowls, and so he just pulls on it. Okay, another 6 pounder done.
Have you made any interesting shapes in the yarn bowls today? Or are
Um,
you just
I'm just
folding and
throwing
dumping?
today. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, I trimmed everything I had yesterday and I didn't have a chance to throw anything. So today I'm gonna spend throwing a ton of stuff.
so that you can carve up tomorrow?
Yep. Yeah, yeah. And then I have game tomorrow night, so we're gonna see how far I get with trimming. And I may be able to throw something, but probably not. I'm planning on throwing a ton today. All right, that is, let's see.
So, is the party leaving the city today?
I mean, that's up to you guys.
Well, if we're following the Asimar, are we leaving the city today?
Yes.
It'll be interesting traveling with an NPC, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm
I take it they're not going to do much in combat if combat shows up, right?
no. Nope, they are pretty much going to walk away from you.
It's like, I'm going to keep going if you guys want to fight these things.
Yep. Okay. Just moving some
You
shelving
don't
around.
have to worry about falling into the trap of DMPC if the
Oh,
PC walks away.
yeah. Nope. She is 100% not fighting if she doesn't absolutely have to. She will offer things cupcakes and continue on her way.
So, how did an Asmar end up working with a hag?
Ooh. You are the first person to ask that question.
Well, because it was one of the first questions that popped into my head. Because, like, as soon as you started mentioning this aunt of hers, I'm like, that's a hag. Definitely a hag. And it's like, all right, how'd this happen? Because I'm pretty sure if this was like, I suppose lost child that you know had some worth, the hag took in order to do bidding outside, like so she doesn't have to leave. Makes sense. So,
Yep.
like, it's very possible that, but I highly doubt this person is actually related to the hag.
Nobody has. You are the first person to have brought that up.
And since Kira doesn't know that necessarily that we're going to a hag or even have much knowledge on hags, she's not going to actually be bringing up that question.
Well, and I told Zanny yesterday, I'm like, you assumed that it's a hag. Why? What does your character know of hags?
I, player, assume it's a hag. I, Kira, am like, that's a very weird. way to get directions somewhere. There's got to be some magic involved, but has no further knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I asked Annie yesterday. Why? Why does your character think it's a hag?
Does his character specifically think it, or does he? Or does he
Uh,
think it because we mentioned it out of character?
he thinks it because you guys mentioned it out of character,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so we kind of talked about it yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, I no, they wouldn't know that it was a hag," and I'm like, "Cool."
So none of we're just following this random person come up because they can lead us to our lost friend potentially, and then if their auntie has a way of leading us to the person we're looking for, like it might be better than following a 30-year-old lead,
Yep,
you know?
I love it.
At least that's my reasoning. Blue still wanted to go to the drow, but now that the party's decided to do this, it's like it'd be weird to just. He thinks it'd be weird to just back out of it.
Yep.
So, but he has reasons why he thinks it'd be funny to go to the drow and
Uh huh.
ask the questions.
Yep.
But in case people are listening,
Uh huh.
I'm not saying anything.
Uh huh. Yep. So I am very curious, and honestly, I did not think that you guys would even think to go talk to the hag about finding Iris. That didn't cross my mind when I was
In the
thinking
drow?
about this. Yeah, when I was brainstorming.
Well,
And then I'm like,
because
"Oh, I love it."
hags have a lot of magic, and they can be very useful, but they're also very dangerous. And 99% of the time, you're gonna have to make a deal with them.
Mhm.
And that is almost more terrifying than making a deal with the devil. If no, I think it is more terrifying than making a deal with the devil. So,
Yep. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, you guys have a little ways to get there, though.
yeah. And the Asmar is going to Chakro first, right? So,
Yep.
and we were told that the prophecy mentioned the Dragonborn, so for all we know, we need him to find her. So, yeah. And
Yeah.
while I was reading the journals, I was partly thinking, maybe we should find this fortune teller person. The one that sacrificed children to get
Mhm.
answers.
Yep.
So it's just
I.
like going to a hag instead, like, is basically the same thing,
Close
right?
enough.
So it's still along the lines of one of my ideas. It's just we knew where there were drow to ask versus the other things. So that looks like very muddy water.
Yeah. This is so I don't like throwing with slip.
Mm-hmm.
So I put all my reclaim in one bucket, and by the when this turns to more slip than water, then I move over to my pretty much just water bucket.
Mm-hmm. Is it because it makes it slippery, or
Um, because water makes it more, well, I guess they both make it the same. I can't feel the clay through the slip as well as I can through the water.
because your hands are more coated?
Yeah.
Mm, makes sense.
Yeah, some people don't like doing using slip because it's icky, but I've um
But
slip
it's the
cast
stuff
all my
you're
life.
touching anyway.
Yeah, I've
Like,
slip cast all my life, so
how is it more icky than just playing with the clay to begin with? That doesn't even make sense.
uh-huh. Yep.
Are they also the type of people that if they're painting between each uh thing, instead of dipping it in a cup of water, they go and like thoroughly wash the brush every time? Because then the water is not icky.
Yeah. I I
Like, yes, eventually you need to change it, but like,
mhm.
it's the same stuff you're using,
Right.
and it's useful because if you need to look or moisturize dried out clay, just use some of that, mix it in.
Mhm.
Like, honestly, clay is one of the most forgiving things.
Yes. Yep, I just have my piles of reclaim over there.
Mm. Yarn sometimes not so forgiving because when you try and unravel it, if you need to, sometimes it gets caught in a knot and then uh, breaks.
Uh-huh.
That's annoying.
Yes. I
I
was I was trying to work on
experiencing that happened.
I was trying to make something the other day and it all just split on me. I was so cranky.
Fair. I, when working on the octopus here, about just a little bit into the head, so probably on my like 10th or 11th round, uh, the yarn was tangled and I was trying to untangle it and it broke.
Ugh.
And it's just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I definitely like my clay better than my yarn, but
Yarn is cleaner though.
I mean, hugs. My mom, um, even when she paints, she doesn't get dirty. Like I'm always just dirty. Um, and so I'll go upstairs and I'll just be like, hugs, and she's like, get away from me. Like,
I was the type of kid who could walk into a clean room but come out dirty
come
somehow. Don't know how.
on, stop the wibble. We don't need the wibble right now.
There's a little wibble wobble.
Have a little wibble wobble. Yeah, this is
I think
becoming.
it would be really fun to do some pottery. I do not have the space or the funds to do such things, and I have no idea what I'd be doing. Um, especially if I need like a kiln for it or whatever. Not gonna have the room. Uh, but I'd love to try it one day because I want to try all the crafts one day,
That's fair. They
even the
have,
arts.
we have studios all over the place, where you can um, take a class in it.
Mm.
We don't have many in this area, and the ones we have in this area are ridiculously expensive.
That's fair.
Um,
I,
I keep looking at like buildings in the area. I'm like, I could make that into a studio. Like that could be a studio where people could like join for $100 a month or $50 a month or whatever and just have access to stuff. Whatever they wanted to do. And then I'm like, but then I would have to like hire a
lend out.
teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I mean, you don't have to hire anybody if you just teach it.
I don't. I am not skilled enough to teach. Um,
Well, you're practicing right now.
um, yeah, and I learned from somebody that my dad went to high school with. So I got to hear all the random stories of when my aunt was a kid. And last time I went down to, not last time, but like right after I took the class and I went down to visit her, I'm like, so guess what I learned about this year? And she's like, none of that happened. It's all blatant lies. And none of those rumors need to be spread.
You know what you could do if you were to get a say studio pace studio place words instead of hiring teachers, like you could basically provide the space to other makers, other artists of different things, crocheting, painting, the rug making type things, the pottery, all that stuff. And the fee students would pay, portion would go to the teacher, portion would go to you for the building to help pay the overhead costs, basically,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and then that would help give you help with like paying those utilities and things like that. You wouldn't have to be paying the teacher or whatever because they're renting the space from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could also do like once you're more confident with like maybe do this after you become more confident at like pottery and things like that, because then you would have a thing to teach to begin with to start,
Mm-hmm.
and then other people could, you know, come in and do things. Or you could even have it where it's like if somebody has their own clay and their own supplies that way, but doesn't have access to things like a kiln or other things like that, you can like let them use the space, basically pay a renting fee or whatever else, so that people have access to these things that are expensive things that most people aren't going to have, just in their home, but then they'd be able to do things.
Yeah, I would love to do it. And there's so many buildings in my area that just are empty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was kind of looking into it a little bit. A lot of places let you, if you pay off like the back taxes on a deserted building,
Mm-hmm.
then you could just like have the property.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, because, well, nobody's paying taxes on it and they've abandoned it.
Yeah.
So, and we have a building kind of around the corner from us that I keep, like, every time I drive past it, I'm like, that could be a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I love the idea of giving it to all different types of makers and having room for all of that. And the place that I was kind of looking at has all of that room
Mm-hmm. Because
because it's massive.
yeah, because it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of large equipment for certain art type things that people can't just always afford. So it's like even if they want to get into something, it's hard to.
Hmm.
And then also there's a lot of people who it's like they wouldn't mind sharing their craft with others through like teaching and things like that, but they don't have the space and such to do it. Um so
And they don't have the space to like have it in their apartment either.
yeah. So
Yeah, I would love
yeah,
to.
if you owned the building, you could just basically be renting out the spaces. Don't have to hire anybody yourself. And no, that being said, I guess it might depend on the safety of the neighborhood you get a space in, because potentially hiring security might not be the worst idea, especially if you have expensive equipment.
Yeah,
But
we're actually in a very safe area. The problem with our area is that it used to be a manufacturing area,
hmm
and now it's not. Now it's like um it's more white collar than blue collar in this area now.
hmm
So there's manufacturing buildings that are just empty.
got it. Um, yeah.
These balls of clay that I weighed out the other day, the bag must not have been very tight on them because they are dry.
hmm
The more you work it, the more it rehydrates. Um, but yeah, just from the road, it looks like there's three like viable buildings in the place that I'm looking at.
hmm
And then the other place that I was looking at is a dealership that um, built a new place.
hmm
So they have their old dealership up for sale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how cool would that be with those big dealership windows to get all that natural
hmm
light in there
Yeah.
for people that are like painting and doing things like that?
Yeah. Another thing, if you were to have a makerspace sort of thing, you could also have like a consignment store type thing with it, where you sell
Mm,
your stuff and then like the other makers could put up their stuff for consignment
yeah,
and
that's
sell
a
it
great
there.
idea.
In which case, people just walking by could buy things versus the you know having to ship online or waiting for specific um, fairs or events or
Hmm.
whatnot. You know,
Yeah, that's a great
so
idea. Yeah, I keep thinking about it.
now how effect or good and effective it would be, I don't know. Don't know the area. Don't know how many people are looking for things like that.
Right.
But I do know that like that type of thing, if you find it, like people would probably be willing to at least drive a little bit to get to something like that. You know?
Yeah, and my goal would be so like the couple of studios that I've looked at in the area, they
Mm-hmm.
don't just let you join. Like you can only use their items if you're currently taking a class.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but why? Like, why can't you just do like a monthly membership? Because there's so many people out there that do it. And like, just let people rent the facility.
Yeah.
Because it is gosh darn hard to break a wheel. Like you know what I mean? Like I get like tools and stuff. You make them buy like a packet of tools or whatever, because they're
Yeah.
pretty easy to fuck up. But like,
Yeah. And it would make sense to also have some like tools and supplies to be sold there, but then
yeah,
people can also bring in their own, right?
right, yeah,
Like what was it? Like one of the things with like those people who do like that carpet making or whatever, right? Like
hmm,
the custom design things, it's like having a frame to put the material onto and getting one of those guns probably isn't the easiest thing. But like if, they have their own yarn or buy it at the place, it's like there's a lot of different things that people want to try and do. And they don't want to be spending the, say, hundreds on a tool or that's like one of those specialty rug guns, or thousands on a kiln, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, my kiln was $6,000.
Yeah, like especially when people just want to try things out,
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to do that. As someone who has bought in way too many art supplies of various things,
Same.
and those are not things that require high end tools, um, other than like a sewing machine. Uh, yeah, yeah. Like I know another thing I would love to try out and do, leather working.
Yeah. We have a blacksmith in the area um that also does leather working, and I keep wanting to send Gary to go and try it because he keeps saying how cool it would be to learn how to do something like that.
I would love to do leather working. I'd love to do glass blowing at one point too. That being said, I don't do well in heat, and that's a problem if you're doing glass blowing.
Yes.
those those ovens or whatever. Those, well, it's turning glass into liquid.
Hmm.
They are hot.
Yep.
That being
And
said, I love watching like on YouTube and such like that people doing glass blowing because it's so interesting with like I love watching painting and things like that, and that's cool, but it's
mhm.
also so interesting the art forms that are, here is a random thing, chunk of mud, piece of string, something that's just, you know, hardened glass or whatever else, and then it becomes art, like transforming it, making it into like a 3D object. Like it's so interesting to watch.
Yep. I agree. I love it. And I have a friend who does like all kinds of crazy crochet, like 3D crochet things. And just like seeing the end product of what she's making, I'm like, how? Like I'm still working on flat stuff.
Yeah, the funny
How?
thing is, I've never the blanket I just made was the first flat thing I've ever made.
Really?
Really. I have made bags and dolls. That is what I've made.
Okay.
Um so yeah, I've never really done the flat things. Yes,
Yeah, my
yes.
goal is candle holders that I can dunk into ceramic slip. That's my goal of the moment. So when I game tomorrow night, I'm going to try that again because I did not do so great the first time, and that was when I tried to pull it apart and my yarn just like split like crazy.
Yeah.
So I just cut it off and threw it out. Done with you now.
Okay.
And I probably should have bought super duper cheap crappy yarn
Mm,
to practice with
I see.
before buying cotton, but I didn't. That's not
Especially if you're just gonna burn it away anyway.
well, yeah, but you can't. So I can't put acrylic or any of that crap in the kiln. So I have to do cotton in the kiln.
Got it. It has to be 100% cotton.
Yep, because I don't really feel like dying from the fumes,
Fair.
and
Um,
I don't want all the crud from it, the plastic and whatnot, burning away to screw up my elements.
I see.
But I probably should have brought crappy yarn just to practice with. I can do that. Not how I work.
Well, I'm going to send you a link to an online story I've heard about. I think it's originally from like Denmark or something. Like that's where it's located. And it has yarn and patterns. And the yarn is you can separate it by type and it's not too expensive.
Okay.
Like there's some that are more expensive, but there's some cheap ones there too. Like there's some purely cotton yarn for $2
Hmm.
for let's see how long of it. 185 yards.
Oh,
So it's a small skein, but it's $2 and
that's
it's pure cotton.
amazing.
So I'm gonna send you that link.
Cool.
I was watching a YouTuber earlier and they mentioned it because they do tests on a bunch of different yarn to see whether or not like what yarn is good for making our little dolls
Hmm.
and things. So,
Yep.
uh, yeah. So there's a
Cool.
link.
Thank you.
Um, it's either that or go to a Dollar Tree or a Dollar Saver or a Dollar Ammo, whatever the heck you guys have over there. I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to try we have a place called Big Lots by us and they have yarn on occasion. It's very hit or miss as to like what they have.
Hmm.
Um
And there was a major craft store called Joann's that I believe went out of business recently.
they did go out of business, but they were bought by Michael's, which is another big craft place.
Yeah, I was just about to mention, I'm pretty sure a lot of their in-house brands are going to Michael's now, which
Yep.
that's going to be interesting because then I get to try them. Because I don't have a Joann's here, but I have a Michael's.
Okay. So our Michael's doesn't carry fabric.
Ours doesn't either, but
Yeah,
it does
so
carry yarn.
okay, yeah, same. We always went to Joann's to get fabric.
We have a place called Fabricland.
Oh, we don't have that. We now
I don't
have
know
a
if that's like a
Hobby
chain
Lobby.
thing or whatever, but
We don't have
Hobby
that.
Lobby.
We now have a Hobby Lobby.
Mm. I've heard of Hobby Lobby. I don't think we have any here because the only place I've heard about it is through like people mentioning it on shows. Same with Barnes and Nobles. We don't have that here either. Or at least not where I am. I don't know if it's anywhere else.
We have a Barnes and Nobles close to us.
So you going right till session time or gonna take a break right before I
I'm gonna go till 5 o'clock and then I'm gonna make dinner for the family.
funny, it's 5:15.
Oh shit. Well then,
Guess I should have asked earlier.
I'm gonna finish this one
And then go make dinner.
and then I'm gonna go make dinner for the family. Oops.
Guess it's a good thing I asked now and not in like 20 minutes.
Gary's game ends at 5:30, which is why I figured 5 so that I could have dinner done by like 5:30, 5:45. Oops.
Gotcha. I'm gonna have Zany join in just as you're leaving.
Yep, that's poor Theo. He joined in as I was um just like saying goodbye to everybody the other night.
Let's see.
I felt bad. I'm like, I swear, if you saw the thingy, I was just saying goodbye. I'm not getting off the internet because you joined me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you usually just use this like gray color clay? I know I saw a reddish clay on one of them the other day.
So I have three different clays. I have Umbria, which is like the reddish colored clay that actually fires to a super, super dark brown, almost black color.
Okay.
I have what's called Clair White, um, which is a super white color. Those were the two that I mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have this gray color, which is my buff. This one has grog in it, which is like little sand particles that makes it more stable for when you're
Okay.
throwing bigger things.
Mm.
I detest throwing with the white.
Yeah.
Um, it's like it's like throwing with cream cheese. There's no stability to it at all.
Oh.
Um, I hate it. I detest throwing with it. And I really like throwing with the Umbria, but my absolute favorite is this buff with grog. And when I went to go pick up my clay this time, somebody that just happened to be there was like, "Oh, well, if you like the grog, then you should try the clay or white with the grog in it." I'm like, "I didn't know that it came with grog in it." And they're like, "Well, it's going to be white, but then it's going to have speckles in it because of the grog." I'm like,
Mm.
"Okay, that makes sense."
I mean, that could still have an interesting effect.
Yeah. So I think next time I go get clay, I'm gonna get a box of that as well. Um, but yeah, I detest throwing with the white, which is why I mixed it with the Umbria for this because I had
Mm.
a box left over. So I'm like, let's see what happens. The biggest issue is that the Umbria and the white dry at different speeds.
Mm. Okay.
So I have to keep plastic over it so that as it dries, it doesn't split apart,
Got it.
which is fine. It's something I have to keep track of.
Does it dry closer to the speed of the gray or
The
the
Umbria
white?
dries closer to the speed of the gray.
Mm.
Um,
So the white's just a pain in the ass.
the white is just a pain in the ass.
Got it.
But yeah, originally I'm like, I'm never buying this again. And then someone's like, oh, well, just try it with the grog. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I could do that too. Okay.
Couldn't you mix it in with like your gray there and it kind of have the same effect?
So
You'd end up with like a lighter gray.
yeah, I'd end up with a lighter gray. And I
At
have
least
a,
you'd be able to use up what you have instead of wasting it or something, right? So,
oh, yeah, I'm definitely not going to waste it. I have currently a bucket that I call random mixed, and it literally just has um, a bunch of everything that all wedged together.
hello.
Hi-oh.
Also,
Hello.
told you.
Wait, what?
um, she just asked if I was going to be throwing up until game time, and I said no. I actually have to get off at about 5 o'clock and go make dinner for the family. And she goes, "Oh, that's cool because it's 5:15." Oops.
And then I said how watch your Zany's gonna join right before you leave. And I was indeed correct. That being said, I'll probably just stay in here till game time if there's other people in here. So
Yeah, same.
I'm just continuing my crocheting of an octopus. in the
Love
meantime.
it.
Also,
Meanwhile, I am 48 minutes away from having been 50 hours with no food.
then eat!
I'm attempting to cleanse my body, and I managed to just do so.
If you pass out during game today and we have to call 911, I am not going to
Oh,
be pleased with you.
no, 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 no. I'm fine. Worst case scenario, I take some electrolytes. My goal is to make it until 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
If we have to
See?
call 911 because you pass out today, I'm going to not be happy with you. I'm sticking by my statement.
You're going to what?
I'm going to not be happy with you.
I gave my sister the blanket I made today because I
Nice.
saw her this morning. She really liked it, which is great because when you put a whole bunch of time and effort into something, there's always the fear of people not liking it.
Yes.
Oh, trust me. That's why I quit doing shit for people like that, because a lot of times when I do shit for people, it backfires, and I have video proof. I bought my wife a Michael Kors purse because she said she liked Michael Kors. The instant she got it, she said, "Honey, I don't want this."
That's shitty.
I yeah. Luckily, I've given my sister some things that were like handmade before, and she liked them. So I, you know, some at least, faith that it would be fine. Um,
Yeah.
because like I think it was a couple years ago, instead of buying a bag to put a birthday gift in, I just made one,
That's cool.
which makes a good beach bag because since there's some holes in it, if you put sandy stuff in there, it like falls out.
Nice.
Um, it was like beachy colors too. It's blues and beiges. So, but yeah, no, definitely wouldn't have tried giving her something while she was a teenager because
Mm.
she was kind of an asshole at one point. She's great now. She grew up when she became an adult. Eventually, it took to like 23. But you know what? It happened.
There you go.
Well, you know what they say. I mean, strictly speaking, the person's brain is finished forming by the time they reach 25.
Hmm. Basically, unless something major happens in your life or you decide to make a major change, however you are at 25 is how you're going to be.
Pretty much.
Um,
I
so,
say pretty much because once I hit 30, it was like a switch flipped in my head.
hmm. And here I kind of feel like I haven't changed much since 13.
Nope.
So,
In some ways, I can agree with that statement. I have not, in some ways, changed since I was roughly a teenager. But in some ways, I haven't changed since I was 6. So,
but there's a lot of things that are like typical teenagery things that like I just never did or got into or anything like that. Like I basically was a kid till I was an adult and now I'm a childish adult who at least knows when they need to be an adult.
same.
Is
Most of
basically
the time.
how I am. And you know what? That's perfectly fine because as long as you can be an adult when you have to be,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it
I
doesn't
will say
matter if you're immature.
there is one time where being an adult when I have to be is I'm still trying to learn, and that's when I get into arguments with idiots on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, I most definitely do not fight with anybody online, period, and stop ever.
I feel like that's a lie.
Me? Oh, no, I
I
don't.
don't know. You know,
No, I don't.
I don't know.
Nope.
I don't social media much, so I
Yeah,
don't get into arguments with people because of that.
that's
You
fair.
know?
Nope.
Mm.
The
Now,
extent
I
you're
will
going
say for
to
what it
fight with
I
me is I'm glad you feel that way. I hope you have a great day. And then I just don't
I will
respond ever again.
I will say for what it's worth, I do enjoy trolling trolls.
Nope, not worth my time.
I never said it was worth my time. I said it was fun.
Well, I guess that makes it worth your time
Yeah,
because you're enjoying yourself.
yeah, as long as you're enjoying yourself.
Um, but yeah, no, I don't social media much because I don't know, just never did. Like
Yeah,
even as a kid or in high school or whatever, it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. No, the real fun trick to this cleanse I'm doing is that when I am allowed to eat again, I have to start off slow. I can't take a big meal. I'm allowed bone broth and eggs.
Hmm. So what's the purpose of this cleanse?
Basically, I am resetting my BMR. I'm basically doing a factory reset on my body.
Okay.
Because basically, what I'm doing is taking these. I can't remember the name of what they called them. The colloquial term for them is zombie cells. There's a medical term for it, and I am getting rid of those and replacing them with stem cells.
Okay.
I love throwing big bowls. It is my absolute favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh right, I gotta remind myself
Yeah,
this is being broadcast.
it is. Love throwing big bowls. They make me so happy.
Allie, isn't this day 6?
No, today is the 7th.
Well, why does your title still say day 5?
Because I never changed it. Oops.
Days of day 5.
Yeah,
3 days
that's
of
where
day
I was
5.
confused. I was like, wait a minute.
We're going to put you there. I mean, I got my header page correct at least. Hold on. Let me, got my, where am I? OBS. See, I got my, I got my header page correct. It says day 7. My plan was to throw 10 4-pounders and 6 6-pounders. I only did 3 6-pounders, but with one more, I get 10 4-pounders. So I'm gonna do my one more. And then I'll go up and I'll make dinner. It's chilly. Should have been done just 5 hours ago so that it could have hung out and melded together. And it's not. It's fine. It's fine. Not looking to win any contests here. It's just family dinner. Eh,
It's food. It's edible.
exactly.
Then again, everything's edible once if you're brave enough.
It's also true. My dad is a toddler, so we um we have to make food that toddlers will eat or he won't eat it. Chili is the exception to the rule. Eh. And a lot of times I just make him hot dogs because then I can have a salad. And it works.
Had a bit of confusion there. I was hearing my own voice coming from across the house, and then I realized, oh, my wife is watching a video of one of her previous ultrasounds.
Okay, come on. Stick to the thingy. It's my last one. Behave.
He says, "That's the point. I am the last one. I don't have to behave."
Yeah. Don't make me throw you in the reclaim bucket. 'Cause I will.
I find it ironic because of this cleanse. Now I'm finding myself craving practically everything. And the stupid part is I can't even take tea. So I had to forego my traditional energy this morning.
Um, you'll find this amusing. My mom wanted to try mushroom coffee.
Oh, it's really good when done properly.
So I just bought a bag of it.
Which brand?
Rise, I think.
That's the first one I had. It reminds me of a really good mushroom broth. You're not going to taste much coffee.
Okay.
I would be drinking it more often myself, but it's one of those where it's like, nowadays I miss actual coffee. So it's like,
I like mushrooms and all, but the idea of mushroom coffee just makes me go, ah.
Same.
well, I've tried mushroom soda and I love it. So the idea of mushroom coffee to me wasn't that big of a leap.
Mm.
While we were on vacation, we saw mushroom jerky, so I had to take a picture of it and send it to Theo.
Mushroom jerky.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Eh,
Now you have me very curious. I
Mushrooms are
understand the
closer to
concept of
meat
how it could
than,
work. You're basically just drying the mushrooms.
yeah.
right. Seasoning, drying.
Mushrooms
Yep.
are and mushrooms are closer to a meat than they are to basically any other plant. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
so it
My
makes
question
perfect
is,
sense that you can have jerky.
yeah, but what's the difference between mushroom jerky and effectively a dried mushroom?
Uh, Salt.
How much it's dried?
I don't know how do you jerk a mushroom?
I will say I have been craving beef jerky lately. When I can afford to do so, I'm going to get myself some nice roasts. And I have my grandfather's, well, my late grandfather's dehydrator. I'm going to pull it out of mothballs and attempt to use it.
Mhm.
Eh, my phone keeps
This
blipping, so I'm assuming my family is like, "Hello, are you going to
Feed
come make
me.
dinner?" Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
and this time I know if I make jerky again, don't put an entire layer of cayenne pepper on it.
Ooh.
Oh, cayenne pepper.
Don't get me wrong, I love cayenne pepper, I love spicy food. But the amount of cayenne pepper I used was such that you could not taste the actual beef itself. All I could taste was cayenne. I'm like, yeah, no, that was overkill. My thought process was, it's meat. You need to season it thoroughly. And then I later realized, yeah, no, that's brisket. You don't need to deal with that with jerky.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one.
That being said, now I'm, ooh, I just had an interesting idea. Lemon pepper beef jerky.
Do you have a Bucky's near you?
About 4 hours away.
Okay. They have really good lemon pepper beef
No.
jerky.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. Wait,
Yeah.
where do you? Is there a Bucky's in Pennsylvania?
No. Grumble, grumble.
I was gonna say, where do you go to get Bucky's? Don't you drive all the way down to Texas?
That's
No.
not the only place it's at.
There's a ton of Bucky's up and down the eastern seaboard now.
Uh,
Uh,
Really? That's good to
yeah.
know.
yeah,
So
I'm curious. How far is the closest Bucky's to me? Because it's not a Canadian thing.
No,
Kentucky?
but now
I'm going with
technically,
Kentucky as your closest one to you.
Kentucky.
Yeah. Because there's none in Ohio that I'm aware of. There's none in Pennsylvania that I'm aware of. Um, but I do know of one just south of the Ohio border in Kentucky.
Yeah, but Kentucky is that makes sense. Hang on.
Pretty much straight south of Kai.
Right. Wait a second. Kai is in Canada, but
Uh-huh. Ontario. Just above Lake Erie, sort of by Detroit.
oh, okay. So based on this,
That's a lot of information for being online.
That's why I was being very specific about by Detroit.
yeah, it looks like
And
the
no more
closest
than
one to
that.
you would be in the closest one to you would be in Missouri, of all things.
Okay. Yeah. The only people that are allowed to know where anybody is my people because, well, all they have to do is go to my website and they can find me, which is
Yeah,
sort of
but
creepy.
I mean, the by Detroit seemed a little more specific than I would have wanted.
Okay, that's fair. I will never do that again.
Ontario's fine. Ontario's huge.
That's fair. I will never do that again.
For what it's worth, you can also edit that out in the final production.
Uh, Sweetie, we're live.
Yes, you can edit these after the fact.
Oh, can you? You can edit lives?
No, you can trim them later.
So you can edit a live
No,
after the fact,
you cannot edit it while live. You can trim it later.
afterward, right? So
That's my understanding. If my
without
understanding is
downloading
correct.
it, you can edit it
No,
on YouTube.
you should be able to edit it on YouTube via uh hell, what's the name of that? Creator Studio, I think it is.
Okay. Hmm. I will have to look into that.
But yeah, it looks like it's quite a bit of ice. So, think we're leaving the city today, Zanny?
I think he started on a
Did you hear
different.
me?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Think we're leaving the city in session?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Woohoo! All right.
Just no more drawing cards.
Oh.
Because if it wasn't for the cards, we would have gotten to the drow
Yeah,
two
no.
sessions ago.
Do
But then
you
you would have never met the Celestial.
No, but
As you're thinking in the background, and that would have been a good thing.
yes, what it is. We'll find out how bad an idea this is later.
Yeah.
Hello, fuzzy cat. You're so cute.
I should probably check my messages.
There you go, Allie. I just sent you a link.
To what?
How to edit your cut and edit videos with YouTube Studio Editor.
Oh, cool. Cool. Ugh, things I've never tried.
I don't necessarily use it myself very often because it's easier for me to just download the video and then run it through DaVinci. Or in your case, it would be CapCut.
Yeah, use CapCut.
Yes, yes, I'll give you attention. Jeez, yeah.
Sounds like me and the kid.
I mean, he's a cat, so he's basically a kid.
No, I get that.
But yeah, no, I was trying to do stuff, and he's just comes over on my desk, stands in front of me, and keeps smacking his head on my arm.
I was trying to prep for game yesterday, and my orange cat just kept laying on the keyboard. Like, could you not?
Yeah. Well, my black fuzzball is the cuddliest cat ever, and it's great. Except I'm trying to do stuff.
Those are covered. I was going to come back down after dinner and cover these, but I think I'm just going to do it now since I'm already late. Actually, I probably should check that message to see that.
Because we start at 6:30.
7.
7. Got it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, if I do this now, then I don't need to come back down. I can just go
Start in an hour and 15.
finish prepping. Because I have a specific encounter that I would like to happen, but I do not have it prepped.
Well, we will survive it. Right?
Sure.
Hopefully.
Kira will survive it.
I'm going to bookmark this site.
All right.
There's a site called myspicesage.com. They have a bunch of premium spices that they will sell. Speaking of which, I wonder what they charge for white pepper.
12 bucks.
And 13 cents.
$14 for 4 ounces.
I was closer than I thought I'd actually be. And I'm disappointed in its price.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I will see the two of you at 7.
Yep.
And, other YouTuber type people tomorrow. Have fun.